Marfoogle TV going live in 3. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle TV. We got a lot to go over, and if you joined us for that Marfoogle News show, we actually were just talking about the story with the whole U.S. Embassy thing off air, and that even gets weirder. We might talk about this tomorrow. We might even dig deeper into that, because I was corrected on something. I believe that gentleman was on he was a Venezuelan U.S. Embassy employee. It's actually very vague, and he might have offed himself. And he's actually a Trinidad U.S. Embassy guy. That plane, of course, which people think may have been a cover to bring in specialists into Trinidad, which is right close to Venezuela, nothing sits right about this whole thing. So we might talk about this tomorrow, but we've got so much more to cover tonight. Again, dig into our website, marfooglenews.com. You'll find a full bibliography of every single article, tweet, video, picture, document that we're going to show you here today. You'll see on our website, it's going to match the thumb to today's show. Massive cover-up. And this applies to multiple stories tonight. The truth about their peace, and NATO did what? Again, this has a full list of every single article, tweet, video, picture, document. All right. And remember to share this show out with your friends and family. This is ever since 2019, when I was on call, going to all of the different places with CV as it was breaking. They just started hammering down on us. So if you guys can help us by sharing us out, that would be much appreciated. That is one of the few ways as a news channel that isn't 3 letters, CNN, FOX, and whatever else, to get in the first 40,000 results on YouTube. So please share us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, and then let's go. NATO weighs armed response to Vladimir Putin's hybrid war. Now they're talking about a response. So let's go over this now. It says NATO allies are discussing a more powerful or forceful response to Vladimir Putin's increasingly provocative actions, including by deploying armed drones along the border with Russia and easing restrictions on pilots to allow them to open fire on Russian aircraft. It says the talks are aimed at raising the cost for Moscow of its hybrid warfare and lay out clear countermeasures after a state of airspace violation by Russian drones and jets, according to 4 NATO officials briefed on the talks. Frontline states bordering Russia, backed by France and the UK, have initiated the discussions, which have since been broadened to a larger group in the 32-strong alliance. Proposals include arming surveillance drones used to collect intelligence on Russian military activities and lowering the bar for pilots patrolling the eastern border to take down Russian threats. Remember, taking down a Russian threat is an act of war. If a Russian pilot is flying, even if they're over the border, if they do take them down, those two countries are usually at war. So this is a big deal. Proposals include, again, all of the above, and Donald Trump last month said NATO should open fire on Russian aircraft that breached Allied territory, which was a huge 180. If you guys aren't seeing what's going on, obviously they put a forward-facing story out that made everybody feel calm, and they're going to do that until the very last second. That's what I believe they're doing with the National Guard in all these cities, saying, oh, we're just trying to clean the drugs off the streets. I don't believe it. I don't think you need 8 of our most advanced warships down in Venezuela to shoot some speedboats. I'm sorry, I don't think so. And this whole thing, I think that, this is popping off. Every NATO country has put in over-the-top air defense systems, and now we just read on the last show, South Korea is putting in a major air defense system. That, if you don't expect war in the next 5 years, that might be something that can wait. All of these air defense systems are getting put in now. Not in 5 years from now, not even in 2 years from now, not even in a year from now. We're talking about by next year, almost all of these places will have some sort of advanced air defense system. They're going to spend the money for that? Yeah. Don't think so unless it is something that is necessary. I'm sure some of you are rolling in your grave and your eyebrows are up because you're like, yeah, they would. They totally would waste our money. I don't think so on this scale. I think that this is it, and I think that that's because it is part of a plan. They need to do something super drastic, and I think some of them believe it is in our best interest because the petrodollar is going to fade out. They need to reset. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex James. What is going on? How are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Fuggle fam. I'm doing just fine.
Now, before we go to our disclaimer, I wanted to pop in on this first story because this is a huge change from NATO. They're completely rearranging their views on this.
Absolutely. I mean, look, the fact that they're talking about shooting him down, that's a major game changer. So they'd mentioned it a week ago, and now they're talking more specifically about it. As soon as they start firing upon Russian ships with live fire, that changes everything.
Yeah, so something like this is not a fun thing. Again, we're going to talk about this and much, much more when we get back right after this. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle TV. We've got a lot to get into. Let's get into the next story. Dex, do you want to talk about the Shadow Fleet is launch pad for Russian drones harassing Europe? This
so
is the
according
claim.
to Vladimir Zelensky, Russia is using its illicit shadow fleet of oil tankers for intelligence gathering and sabotage operations, including launching the drones. So currently, Russia is using the tankers not only to earn money for the war, but also for reconnaissance and even sabotage activities, he said, quoting him. It's entirely possible to stop this, Zelensky said. Recent case of drones being launched from tankers are one such example. We're sharing this information with the partners, and it's important that their response to Russia be real. So obviously he is trying to paint any picture he can for Europe to get involved, or NATO members and European Union to get involved in the war with him. And so, this France originally detained that ship. Remember, we talked about it probably like 4 or 5 days ago. They had boarded a ship, a Russian Shadow Fleet ship, and they had accused that ship of potentially launching some of the drones that had gone over Denmark. But we never heard that was a definitive it was statement a rumor from the country. It was sort of a rumor, but it was still being talked about. So, of course, now we've got Zelensky pushing that same story, but talking about it, not just the one ship, but all of the ships. And obviously his way of saying stopping it is just stop all their ships, put a blockade up and prevent them from doing any of this embargo.
Well, here's why I think that this is true, because why wouldn't you? If you're in a war and you are in a potential war that is coming, you're going to use every asset that you have. These guys are basically on the payroll to move oil or whatever they might be moving from place to place to get around these sanctions. This is a massive war, and a massive war is being planned with not only Russia but other countries that there was just a story that came out 3 days ago, coincidence, that U.S. intelligence says that Russia is helping China as well prepare for their Chinese invasion. Isn't that funny? And then it was so crazy about a month and a half, 2 months ago, Mark Rutte, the actual head guy at Nato, said our exact theory on this is that they are all going to pop off at once. That Russia and NATO is going to happen, China and Taiwan, North Korea, Venezuela, and it would spread the U.S. It would spread our military to the point where it could be defeated. Because we can handle U.S. versus China. We'll smush them like a bug. We can handle U.S. versus Russia. We'll smush them like a bug. But our country says that we're only ready for about one and a half, whatever that means, peer-to-peer adversary wars. So then add a couple smaller ones in there and a lot of people that we've basically said we would back them up. That's a big deal. And actually, we're adding one more to that. Dex, don't you think it's kind of funny that now we've just guaranteed, Hamas's safety? So that's another area where they're going to need the possible military help. I mean, we're just spreading the military all over the world. I think it's kind of odd.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the cleanup looks like for the Strip.
And then Russia severely damages Ukrainian gas networks ahead of winter. This is no surprise because Ukraine, and many believe that Ukraine is getting help from not only the equipment, but actual help from intelligence and everything else to hit deep inside of Russia to knock out all of their gas. This is history repeating itself during big wars, during World War II. We hit Nazi Germany exactly where it hurts. Oil stops everything. It stops tanks. It stops boats. It stops everything because many of their vehicles, everything, it runs on petrol. So if you take those out and you take out the ammunition depots or the factories that are making ammunition, which are all the targets that are being hit right now, then you slow down the war, or you could even stop it if you did a good enough job. But now they're striking back. There's a lot of folks from Russia that have been posting videos, and who knows at this point, with Sora looking so damn real, they've got 800-pound dudes doing 80-foot pole vaulting, and it looks real. Who knows what's real at this point? But what I will say is all of these countries are lining up all at once. So yeah, this is big, and now this is going to screw over Ukraine. And a lot of its other countries that have already basically went all in with Ukraine, they are, obviously going to feel the plight of what Ukraine is going to be going through. But I think that is because they hit Russia really bad. So I think that this could very well escalate very, very fast beyond what it already is, which is a major war. Before we move on, make sure to go check out Energy if you haven't already. This is one of the best generators on the market. This is, again, not something we can get all the time. For years, this was our main solar generator affiliate, but then they got the contract for the U.S. Army, and they could not keep up. Some Fugel family members actually waited 8 months, 9 months for these. But you do not have to wait because there is a small batch in, and if you do want to get one, you will get it right now. Go to marfoogle.com/energy, INERGY, and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. If you go to the website and the buy button is gone, that means it is gone, and we actually do not know when they will be coming out with another batch. Now, as far as once you get that head unit, get a battery or 2 batteries or 40 batteries, that's going to be, I believe, easier to get than the actual head unit, which has specifications to be front-loaded in the U.S. It's steel reinforced frame. The thing is tough as nails. It's built like things used to be, and it is untouchable by China, Iran, and all of these other countries that could possibly hack it. It has no way to have that happen. So this is what you want rather than, in my opinion, an Amazon shell company-owned cheap solar generator that could be turned off remotely by the country that controls 98% of the solar panels in the world. And a lot of the solar minerals. Go to marfooglenews.com/energy and make sure to use the code Marfoogle. All right, and then let's go into our next story here. We've got Ukraine's long-range drone strikes are punishing the industry fueling Russia's war. Dex, go into the further details into it.
Yeah, certainly. So with the escalating attacks on Russians energy sector, just like we saw Russia go after the natural gas sector in Ukraine. You know, it's really biting into what they're referring to as the not only just the economy but the war chest, like where Moscow gets its money to fund the war. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky said that the long-range sanctions against Russia, a reference to the deep strike campaign, is achieving truly significant results. Moscow's vast oil industry is a critical sector, with oil and natural gas exports fueling its war efforts. This is the interesting point. He goes on, the fuel shortage in Russia is already approaching 20%. That's significant. 20% fuel shortage is a very large number. If we had a 20% loss here, it'd probably be a big deal. This specifically concerns their gasoline, which is why they have so many people waiting in lines to get gas, and they're rationing. They stopped exporting diesel and other refined finished fuels in Russia because of the shortage. They've now begun tapping into diesel reserves, which they have been saving for a rainy day, Zelensky said. So, again, more proof that the long, deep strikes that they've been doing are causing significant damage. And I think this, when I read between the lines here, this is a statement of him probably trying to make that pitch for, hey, if you give me the Tomahawks, I want to keep going deep. I need something more precise where I can do more damage to their war economy, and not just using the drones that are not as powerful.
Yeah, I think that there's so much more going on than the most of the public around the world can even see. So yeah, this is not good signs. And then Putin issues rare apology and compensation for Azerbaijan airline disaster. So when I saw this at first, I thought that's actually in 10 years that we've been on. Really haven't seen this. Maybe once, actually. I do remember back in 2016 something similar happening, or 2017. Russian President Vladimir Putin has issued a rare statement of regret after acknowledging Russia's role in the downing of an Azerbaijani Airlines flight traveling from Baku to Grozny on December 25th, 2024, right around Christmas. And then Putin informed Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev during a meeting in Dushanbe, Tajikistan, that Moscow will compensate Azerbaijan for its role in accidentally shooting down an Azerbaijani passenger jet. The incident brought the tensions between the two countries to a low point. After being struck with a Russian missile, the pilots attempted an emergency landing in western Kazakhstan, but the plane went down, killing 38 out of 67 perished on board. That's crazy that I forgot about this one. And Dex, you realize that they half of the passengers actually survived. And when you see the pictures of this thing, it does not look like it should have survivors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's just not like new news in the sense that everybody knew Russia did it. Like that's what we've all been saying for years. All the evidence was there. At the beginning it was a question who did it, but then it was like, look, it's clear that they shot the missiles up. It's clear that those missiles went up, and that is what struck the plane. And they would never admit it in true Russian fashion. They would just say we're not taking credit for that. So for him to come out today and say, you know what, not only are we taking credit, but we're apologizing, but we're also going to compensate. So that is a rare thing for Russia to do that.
I think it would be a big deal to the family members to actually have that kind of closure. If it's left in, because here's the thing, even though 100% of those family members knew or probably knew that this was how it happened, if your dad or your mom or your son or your daughter died in a plane crash like this, and the official narrative by the country that is being blamed says, nope, we didn't do it. Oh, we have nothing to do with it. That would leave just a gut and a mystery in your heart. You guys know some of the stuff I post on Twitter. I think about my kids and my family a lot. And it's just, something like that. I don't think I could get through burying my children. I know some of you, some of my friends out in the chat have buried their children, and I can't imagine it. Go ahead, Dex.
Yeah, and going back to why would Putin do this? Like, because it's rare for them to make a statement like this. Let's keep in mind that President Trump is taking credit for I guess, the conflict that had been going on for years between Azerbaijan and the other nation there. I can't remember who it was, but Armenia, and the peace declaration that he helped them sign, right? So Azerbaijan has always had good relations with Russia, but if Trump has moved in and started to build these relations by creating that peace deal and building those relations probably with both countries, but obviously with Azerbaijan, then this could be a sign that Putin is trying to do something to get back in and get his alliances back with Azerbaijan and pull them away from Trump.
Yeah, when we covered this, I'm going to show you the map here. The Armenia and Azerbaijan. I believe these decks, those are the two that just kind of had this peace deal, right? They've been at each other's throats for...
Yeah, it's one of the ones that Trump claims in one of his many wars he solved. But yeah, I think it was the peace declaration with Armenia was on August 8th.
Yeah, which the timing of that day, I remember that coming out on a day that... Oh. Yeah, that was the day... Was it the 9th that the Charlie thing happened? This was the day before Charlie, or 2 days before.
No, that Charlie was the day before 9/11.
What did you say the date was? The 8th of...
August.
Okay. He was September. Okay. I remember something happening on the same day because they showed, if you remember this, they showed Trump in the middle of the two gentlemen and they were holding up the piece of paper and it was like, oh, peace in the Middle East. The same thing with this whole piece right now with Gaza and the hostages being released. First of all, the hostages aren't released yet. Second, the peace, I wonder if they are worried. I wonder if they go, holy crap, it kind of got out that something's about to go down. Most people aren't stupid. They're seeing through the patterns. I think there's a lot more people with discernment, even if they kind of believe the mainstream media, they're going, oh, that's kind of weird. And they're going, I think we're about to go to war. And, with gold going over 4,000, maybe they're panicking and they're going, holy crap, we can't let this happen. When gold goes up, it really puts the dollar at odds. And the U.S. dollar does not like gold going up like that, especially when you have U.S. dollars being taken out and being put into something else. So usually they'll try to do something, anything, to make it happen. And I just wonder if either side of this peace deal with Israel and Hamas are going to be the victims of it, because in a week or two, something else happens, right? Or they plan behind, go, hey, thanks for doing me a solid. We really needed gold prices to go down. People are panicking. The most Googled search term right now is World War III. People are freaking. They're not going to work and they're, packing their suitcase, which I'm sure there's some people out there doing. So yeah, maybe this whole thing, but the Armenian, Azerbaijan, they had that peace deal and they're also part of the Black Sea, the Turkey's Black Sea project, the defense project or whatever. So something's going on here. Obviously, somebody's moving in. They are probably handing out checks to some of these countries to be like, hey, you guys need to be on our side. We're the winning side. You want to be at this table when it all settles. All right. And let's go to the next piece, which is Ford to suffer $1 billion, yes, with a B, $1 billion hit from brutal New York factory fire at a key supplier. It almost looks like sabotage. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But first, I do want to remind you guys, make sure to get an EMP shield on your cars, your trucks, your motorcycles, your boats, your generators, your gas, and solar. In the case of the energy, that energy, actually, they make an EMP shield directly for it that is plug and play. You don't have to wire it in. Just plug, and boom, you're done. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP to protect yourself. This is not a normal surge protector. This can ground a signal in less than 500 trillionths of a second. Normally when they talk about surge protector, they talk about millionths of a second. This is trillionths of a second. It is not technology you can get at Fred Meyer. This is something you have to get from this company. They are helping outfits like DHS, DOW, Air Force, FBI, the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. So if you do want to get protection like this, go through marfooglenews.com/EMP. because not only are you going to help our channel, you are going to get $50 off per device and help us out at the same time and get yourself prepared. They make one for almost anything you can think of, so go ask if you have a question. All right, and then this, I don't know. When I see something like this just seems so big. A $1 billion hit from this New York fire, which is, again, in New York, one of the places that everybody's watching. Dex, what did you think about this when you saw it?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a massive issue when you've got, it's an aluminum factory or aluminum manufacturer or distributor, whatever, that creates and produces probably raw aluminum, I'm assuming, for Ford, which then turns it into vehicles. That plant caught fire, had a devastating fire last month. And because of that, it is now going to have a massive ripple effect to the F-150, which is one of the biggest selling, largest selling truck, most popular truck in America, which is mainly an aluminum body. So all of the body and everything comes from that aluminum that they can no longer get now. It's not there. That plant can't produce it. And that also then creates another problem. Like, what do you do? Where do you get it? So can you import it? And if you do import it, isn't it going to be a problem with the tariffs that are underway? I don't know if, Trump would do something specific to help solve this problem for Ford. But I mean, $1 billion loss is a very massive loss for a company like that, especially with their number one vehicle. So, or one of their, the top selling vehicle in America. There's probably going to be, I could even see this causing layoffs and other things happening if they have to stop producing. So this could be a big deal, as much as we don't normally talk about auto manufacturers, but I don't know if there's anything suspicious with the fire and what started the fire plant, because we really didn't talk about it. Nobody really heard about it until now, when we realized, oh, by the way, that fire that happened there has this huge effect on, a major automotive company here in America, which obviously employs lots and lots of people.
And brings in lots and lots of money to the U.S. So that is $1 billion that just went out the window. Was it sabotage? Was it, one of these groups that may not be in uniform, invasion from within? That I know there's so many people that are like, there's nobody invading. We're the toughest country in the world. Until you spend 4 years going, hey, all those people that were protected by oceans from, how about we help you get through the Darien Gap, and we just let you in the front door and say, hey, here's a hotel, health insurance, food stamps, and we're not going to ask you your name. In fact, at the border, when we arrest you, even if we arrest you, we're going to go, hey, we'll see you at your court date, bucko, and we're not actually going to do a criminal background on you, which is super suspicious. We're not going to look into the background of oh, that guy's military. Then you're going to disappear and just go away. Let me just say this. I didn't think it was too odd that one of the first big stories of them doing a mass immigration thing was at a Hyundai plant, where those may not be South Koreans. They could be also North Koreans. We talked about an article of probably about 6 months ago where these companies had a bunch of North Koreans infiltrating their companies, getting jobs there, then bringing the money back to North Korea. But not only that, they essentially had to come up with some way to test the North Koreans. And what they started doing is they started asking the North Koreans to say something bad. And they don't know if they're North or South Koreans. These are the same people. Remember, there's just a fake wall between them, but they are the same exact DNA. So they asked them, say something bad about Kim Jong-un. North Koreans, even if they're 1,000 miles from home or 10,000 miles from home, they could not say it. It's part of their religion. Or even if it doesn't, and they go, that was my parents' religion, I don't believe in it. They could also get put in front of an anti-air weapon and executed if they do say it. So yeah, I thought it was weird. That was a huge, huge bust. And did we, they could say whatever they want and say, oh no, this is all of these South Koreans that went through the Darien Gap and came in and they were all working at Hyundai. I don't know. I think it was odd, the number of people that ended up being from that area too, which if those were military age males that came in over the last 4 years, it's kind of weird that they're going in and getting them by the hundreds. Just saying. And this fire in New York, I wonder if it's related. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, and thank you, Lola Cafe. Thank you so much for the super chat tonight. Thank you. I appreciate you. It looks like you are the top supporter tonight. Mooey Garnett says Marf is the best 100. Hey, well, thank you. You are the best. Mooey Garnett, thank your mods. I actually believe they top the charts for best. Make sure to go thank them by dropping an M in the chat. Michigan Lifestyle, just remember, don't ever say what you have and what you know. There's been so many people that have argued over the years that every time I said, hey, you shouldn't necessarily tell everybody like what your preps are. I always said, like, I don't want everybody to know what and where my preps are. There were a lot of, there was like a lot of pushback and a lot of Christians that said, hey, that's really not good. Like, you've got to open your doors to everybody. Personally, I want to be honest with you guys. I think the most devout Christian may become a robber when this all happens. And that's what I think in my heart. I think that there could be a pastor that ends up taking somebody's life, a neighbor, for food to feed his family. Because I think if this happens the way we think it does, it's going to be bad. And I don't think that we can really say, oh, well, no, I know what I'm going to be like when everything is shut down for a year. And it's absolute chaos, and it's an apocalypse movie, and it's just absolute hell on earth. Everybody thinks that they're prepared, but most of you should know by now, if we do not have electricity, water, and infrastructure, it is going to be the challenge of your life, and only survivors are going to survive. So, yeah, I think that you tell everybody that you have a bunch of preps. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to get cousins and cousins' roommates, and oh, my cousin's a big prepper, and they got a really big stock house in Illinois, or something like that. Then all of a sudden, within 2 days, like if you told nobody, you could go a year with nobody finding the place. You tell a bunch of people about it to brag, and then all of a sudden, within 10 hours of the event, you're cleaned out. That's why I don't. I'm going to try to take care of my family members, but you know how else you can do that is if you've been warning them for the last 7 or 8 years so they can get prepared themselves. I believe that is suitable enough. And of course, I'm not going to turn down my sisters or my brother or my aunt or anybody. I've never even met my brother. I would totally invite him in. But if I didn't have enough, we would have to figure something else. That's how it's going to be. I've got 4 kids, and they are going to come first. All right. And we've got Hamas leader in Gaza. We've received guarantees that the war is completely over. Watch our video over on Marfoogle News about this, because we talked about this in detail over there. This is a guarantee that is essentially guaranteed by the U.S. So this is the U.S. saying, mediating and saying this is going to be over. The hostages are still not free. My experience with all of these peace deals, but with exception of Azerbaijan and Armenia, most of them have all fallen apart. Was this a temporary thing to get people to forget that, Bitcoin's at 125,000, gold's at 4,000, which everyone that sees that, everyone who's reporting it, independent media across the planet, regular media is like, oh, that's not a good sign. That means something bad could be coming. That freaks everybody out. Everybody panics. Now they go, oh, don't worry. Oh, the big threat, Iran and Hamas, they're settled. So everybody has a collective sigh of relief, and everybody goes back to their 9-to-5 bubble, to their robot lives, and they forget that there was a panic. My opinion on this is that they are not the ones to panic about. It is the ones who are ready here. I think that something is going on way bigger than just Hamas and Iran. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Dex, do you get what I'm saying? Like, how many other countries are lining up right now? It's not just this.
No, it's global. It'll, when history gets written, it'll be World War III, even though we don't call it that today. It's already there.
Yep. And this is it's something that I hope that many of you got warning for many, many years of, and that you are prepared. Speaking of preparation, make sure to go check out Jace, because again, you can get a kit with all of your most common antibiotics in it. If you don't have food and water first, make sure to get that locked down. Make sure to use resources that you have right now. Well, you have them. We're not going to have the internet to look up, what berries are safe to eat. Those are kind of things that a lot of preppers, you don't have to spend much. You print it out on normal printer paper. Some people put them in weather-protected sleeves. They'll laminate them. There's all sorts of tricks you can do right now. Well, you have access to that information for free. Because if you think, when everything goes down, I'm sure some of you have a plan like, first we'll go to the pharmacy, we'll get the antibiotics, and then second, we'll rob the library for all of the information in the world. Just to survive, you're going to need a lot of books. You could very well print these out, put them somewhere, or start learning now. That's an option too. One thing, though, you should do is definitely have antibiotics on hand, because if something happens to somebody in your family and there is no hospital, the hospitals are down, the doctors are not there, there is no transportation to the hospital, there's no road to the hospital, that is where this comes in handy. And they also have another service that is also in that same book that is Jace Daily. That means you can get up to a year of your regular prescription meds all at once, and then rotate your normal doctor giving you prescription into that, and you will always have a year of prescription meds. Say something happens tomorrow, you'll have a year. If something happens in a month and a half from now, you would rotate your regular prescription into it, and then a month and a half, boom, you start it there. A year and 1 month, I don't know what happens after that, but hopefully a year is enough for you guys to get off of whatever you're on or to find another solution. All right, you guys have a wonderful night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. Again, I love all of you guys. Thank you, Dex, for all your service tonight.
Much love. Great job, brother.
Thank your mods by dropping by over on marfooglenews.com/friends. I also, speaking of friends, I do want to make a short announcement, a short prayer. If you don't know who Alaska Prepper is one of the sweetest people in the world. During CV, he gave his time. He gave generators to families. One of my ex-neighbors actually got one of those generators, and they were in need. And the reason why that was a special thing, we had three kids at that time. That was before my son. And we were going through the roughest time of that. They barely knew us, and they ended up getting a ton of food from food bank and other places during that, when everything was empty off the shelves. They not only got themselves some, but they thought of us, and they dropped this massive box of everything we needed to get by, including baby formula and everything else. So Alaska Prepper ended up giving them, he had this current giveaway, and he said, you know what, I'm going to remove this one from the giveaway. I'm just going to give it to your friends, when he heard what they did. And he did. And they've used that. They've used that when their power's gone out. It really helped that family, and they are a sweet family. So I just want to remind you, he is one of those type of people. He never told that on his show. He never talked about it. He never bragged about it. He might have mentioned it briefly because he had to technically say, hey, there's only 5 generators instead of 6. I'm taking this one out for a special thing. But he didn't talk about it. Most people do that kind of stuff to just get praise or to get views or subscribers. He was the kind of person that would call those people off air and talk with them for an hour. He had exactly what I had, I think, and I haven't talked to him yet, but he had a piece of his colon removed. I have not had a piece of mine removed. I was one step away from that because I had to have a third bout of diverticulitis. And I know how much pain he is going through. And I just want to say, please say your prayers for Alaska Prepper. Dex, I saw the video yesterday, or I believe, but I don't think I had time to tell you about that. Did you hear about Alaska Prepper from anybody?
No, I didn't, but my prayers go out to him.
Oh, it is bad. He has not made a video in a year. I was not, and I'm sorry that I was wrapped up in my move and in my family life. I did not realize he has not gone live in a year. And he just went live. So go check that video out. He's on our friends page. So please pray for him. I know what he's going through, only he's a step further. So where he's at right now, I don't quite know where he's at right now. But also I have another YouTube friend who had the same thing, had a part of his colon removed, and he said it is absolute hell. So if you can please pray for Alaska Prepper, it would be much, much appreciated. He is just a genuine guy. You might not like his political views or his content or whatever else. Understand he is a nice gentleman, and he's the first one that would change your tire on the side of the road, not knowing you from Adam. No pun intended. So go check him out. Again, Alaska Prepper right here. Let's see. Yeah, this is the video I'm talking about. So I forgot to talk to Dex about this. Dex, I'll get you the link for this, and if we can, we'll put it on the website. If you want to find this video, go to the description down below.
I'll put it on there.
He's not asking for anything either. If you want an update on his situation, he is asking for prayers though. So please go check him out. Check out the video. All right, you guys, have a lovely night. Be safe, be prepared, and God bless. Marf out. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro.
They not know. But we don't get them bother.